We were just transfixed.
I've embarrassed myself too much with the singing. I'll probably never get another job anywhere for the rest of my life with that stuff.
I still tell people I haven't sang really well since my bar mitzvah.
Has anybody complained?
No.
There are haters out there who don't like people having fun. They expect everyone to take their job seriously.
Yeah,
really
using paper clips correctly, not using a lot of big words, stuff like that.
Yeah, right. We don't use big words here, except for Rob.
Yeah,
that's Rob.
Yeah.
Occasionally, he throws an SAT word here and there. But,
that IDC vocabulary.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some people have a hobby of hating, so obviously,
say no to hating.
Yeah,
say no to hating.
People
who are those haters are on my shit list. That's it.
Hey, so everyone, welcome to IoT Coffee Talk. Oh, geez, I forgot how to start this whole thing. Yeah,
we got CRS.
Remember to like, share, comment. Whether you hate us or not, that's fine.
We don't care.
We don't care what you think. We're here to educate to the best degree that we can, and through the course of an hour, we're going to drop a few little insights and nuggets that hopefully will help you in your business and help you understand technology a bit better from the ranting and ravings of some experienced and knowledgeable people who are old.
Hey.
A lot of what's called experience, especially Steve. He's very old.
I am the godfather of IoT right here.
That's true.
Do not want to play one-on-one basketball with this man because he will school your ass.
Yeah.
That's my new one. Wait until you see this.
Look at that
thing. Incredible.
And then last weekend we won a championship, and this was the bling we got last week.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Ring, man.
Yeah. I wore
like
this
Super Bowl ring or something. Wow.
It's a very cool. It's the first time I've been to a world tournament where they actually handed out really like bling bling. So
wow, that is a little serious bling bling. But yes, and we do. Yeah. But hey guys, let me finish this.
This is as good as it gets.
This guy, wow. It's for Andre the Giant. And we do all of this for the kids. We have a charity called Elevate Our Kids at www.elevateourkids.org, where we're trying to help bridge the digital divide for kids K through 12. And there's a lot of people in need. And we're all about giving, helping, and helping kids participate in the digital economy, the digital society, all this digital stuff that we love so much. And please consider donating. We're always looking for, helpful hearts and generous hearts who want to donate. And remember, there's some tax benefit as well. So always consider that. And
right. Consult your accountant and tax prep.
Yeah, and so if
official
you're not
guidance.
the charity, right? Turn to fashion. You can pick up one of these, and all proceeds go to the charity Elevator Kids. So with that, we're going to get started.
Awesome.
Oh, and here's our disclaimer. Remember to take us seriously at your own dire risk, okay? We're just having fun, as we prefaced before we got started here. And
entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just entertainers here. We're not.
Yes.
Not stockbrokers on Wall Street.
No.
Without our cards.
Yeah.
No, they
No union cards here.
They have semi-professionals for that stuff.
Yeah,
so,
no
yeah, what was? Oh, yeah, and the reason why we played "You Give Love a Bad Name." Actually, it's our version called "You Give Innovation a Bad Name." So, yeah, I know.
Wow.
Is there a hidden meaning there that we need to know about?
No, it came out of last week's
Gotta watch last week's episode.
Yeah, where we said that not all innovation is good innovation. There's a lot of bad innovation. So let's not go around just throwing innovation as a word to make us look better or smarter than we really are. There's a lot of bad innovation out there. So we put more energy into the good stuff, right? Just talking doesn't make good stuff.
It's like bad medicine.
Bad medicine, yes. Another great song.
Might be good for the next
Called Bad Innovation. You know what? I didn't even think of that song. We could have done that one.
Change the words.
Bad Innovation. Yeah. Bad Innovation. Yeah, that would work. Actually.
And how much bad innovation gets funded?
Just enough.
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever seen these founders struggle? They get married to a bad idea, bad innovation, stuff that's not going to work. And I've seen it so many times, and it's sad because, you can actually trap yourself in a vicious cycle of, having to try to keep this thing going and trying to figure out a way to get out of it, and I think there's a lot of folks that probably know that feeling.
Well, I would say even.
but that's not necessarily the founder's fault. It's the money people. It's
really
the money people. I mean, if no one put money into your bad idea,
maybe you got a bad idea.
Well, no. I mean, seriously, I put it on the founders because they should do their homework and they should do their due diligence. I meet so many who haven't, and I tell them what the market's really like, and they go, "Really?" It's like, yeah, look, I'll give you a couple of, little tokens that you can play at Chuck E. Cheese, right? Check this out. And usually, and I think we've talked about this before, it has to do with understanding the market and the definition of the market and the numbers. People, that's why we always talk about how dangerous these numbers are. It's not a trivial exercise, not even a trivial thing. People get misguided by these huge numbers and they go and start chasing them. And they come up with these pitch decks where their TAMs, their SAMs, all these calculations of what the market opportunity are
It's SOMs.
off. I mean, seriously. And then they don't want to pay for the kind of advice that could save them a lot of trouble. And it's a tragedy I see all the time, Yeah. And that's why honestly, I don't work with startups. I don't try to go there. Just simply because it's like, look, if I spent so much time working with these folks with ideas where they didn't do the homework, then I'd be starving.
True. Although every major successful tech company started as a startup, right? So we do have to give some props out to folks that
but they're rare stories.
They're rare. I know they're rare.
The delusion is to think that everyone is going to become an Apple.
No. And savvy VCs know that it's a 1 in 100 or whatever the ratio is of success versus failure. But the other issue is this idea of falling in love with your product is not unique to startups. Product managers everywhere, even at big companies, fall in love with their products and find it hard to sort of make the course corrections necessary, or sometimes to exit the market, appropriately. And some products live on for maybe a little too long. So, but that's a classic product management trap as well, is falling in love with your product and not having the objective, perspective on it. That's why talking to real customers and really understanding the value prop,
What?
and,
What?
is yeah, I know, it's crazy, right?
Talking to customers?
But wait a minute, everything that you just said right there is what a product manager should do.
It is.
Yeah, that's right. Talking to customers.
It's a real problem. But I believe that we've lost product management skills across the board.
True.
It's just one of those things. But I'll go back to one of your points, Leonard, and Pete. I think you hit everything on the head in terms of these big companies started out as startups, but they also bought startups.
Sure.
Because it was the whole build buy partner thing.
Sure. Yeah. Inorganic growth.
Right.
Part of the deal.
But I as a founder, when someone comes up and they say, this is what it is. Number one, no, don't fall in love with your product. And just because you independently think you're going to solve these problems, those might not be the problems that your product actually solves. It might be something else. So keep your ears open. Always be ready to pivot.
Flexibility to pivot
pivot. It's a way of life.
Pivot. Just don't pivot. Don't pivot 360 degrees. That's my only advice.
Some of them do that.
Keep pivoting. I've been on those projects. It's like, we're going to pivot again. It's like,
well, if I make 3 right turns, it'll be a left.
Exactly.
It's like, it is. And, you're absolutely right. I mean, you said talk to your customers, but it's listen to your customers. That sounds super cliche, but yes, listen to your customer, but more importantly, solve problems, because sometimes the customer doesn't know what they might need. And that's where a lot of good innovation, speaking of innovation, good innovations come out. And that's like in my consulting days, that's exactly what we had to do. That's what good consultants do, is they problem solve. And back in the day, man, we solved some crazy stuff and stuff.
Bill.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
Stop it.
Baby Bill. That's
Would you stop it?
You know what? That's the thing about consulting. You have a lot of fun before you become a partner, and have to deal with the non-customer problem-solving stuff.
Yeah.
I loved delivering, designing solutions, dealing with technology. I love that.
Let me give a little pitch so you're talking about talking to customers. There's this framework called the Jobs to Be Done framework. Clay Christensen, if you're familiar with it. There's a book here called The Secret Lives of Customers. And I love recommending this book because it's a really good Jobs to Be Done framework book, told in a very narrative way about a coffee shop. So you can talk about how do you talk to customers and really understand the motivations behind it. They say Henry Ford, if he listened to customers, he'd have faster horses or whatever. But so you're really understanding what are they using these products and what problems they're really trying to solve. It's a really good product management skill. So that's one of my favorite books.
Oh, that's cool.
There.
I should read that on the plane or something.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. That's a short book. So.
Hey, Marc.
I think we have a problem as engineers, right? So we envision a product that it's amazing, technically speaking, but nobody wants to use, right?
Right.
So sometimes we have this problem, right? We can build these.
That's the age-old thing. What problem are you trying to solve?
Yeah.
That's right.
Actually, I have this is Debbie. I have an example in the news maybe we could talk about. I don't know if you all heard, but that invention, the humane pen, it was like the IE pen, AI pen.
Yeah.
It was sold for parts to HP for like $150 million. So I guess they got something out of the deal. But I mean, that's a classic example of creating something where you don't really know what it is what people really want.
Yeah. That's a good
I
point.
think they got more value out of the office chair, the Aeron chairs out of that deal than anything else.
they're pretty good.
Position.
That's true.
office furniture.
And you know how many of those they buy, right?
You know, if I go all the way back to the beginning when Leonard was talking about a founder being trapped and not able to escape, you know what came to my mind? Was John McAfee, founder of McAfee Antivirus, and he escaped and he was on the run in Central America in Belize.
A little different type of escape, though. I think that you're talking about like a legal escape over the border without a passport.
But that just popped into your mind.
I was just like, founder escaping, get on the run. It's John
Rob, do you have some plans that you want to share with us? Do you have some plans that we should know about?
Rob's going in the submarine to get escape. He's not going in the air.
But that's the epitome of an exit plan.
Serious exit plan.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But the guy who escaped from Japan in the cargo plane when the authorities were coming after him. The guy who was the head of like the consortium that Renault and Nissan or whatever.
The Nissan guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're like, you can't
Carlos
escape.
Ghosn. Carlos Ghosn.
Yeah, they had all the airports locked. They had everything locked down, and man, he was like in a pod or something in a baggage deal. That guy was like, "I'm getting out of here."
You know what? People thought, God, man.
Went to Canada too, didn't he? For that one?
Ended up in France, and then who knows? Yeah.
You know how much the Japanese love that guy. You know, he was like a hero, national hero.
Yeah.
He's not even Japanese, you know.
No.
And then next thing you know,
Next thing you know,
that was crazy.
Wow.
But
Nissan-
yeah,
I think. Yeah, Debbie's point about the humane AI pin. You know, there's a number of these kind of wearable AI things out there, and you know, I think in the abstract, there's definitely a value prop there. It's all about also, you know, this is a lot about the execution and does it really deliver? And you know, a lot of times the tech isn't there. I mean, you know, Microsoft's a great history for that, right? Like, look at their pen computing efforts back in the 90s, where it was like, well, that kind of it's the right idea, but wow, the tech just was not ready at all, and so. Then you end up delivering something and it's totally disappointing. And then, you know, someone else will deliver something that's wearable, that connects into AI for sure. It's just not the right time right now. The tech's not there.
well, you know, I think the Meta Ray-Bans are interesting. They're not perfect. They're not what people think. People think that they're standalone, but the whole smart glasses peripheral is super interesting.
Yeah.
And again, it's not standalone. It totally depends on a smartphone or
Right. Which, you know, pretty much everyone's carrying around. So
anyways, right. So I think it has that utility. And that humane pin, man, I don't know what you guys thought, but I knew that was dead on arrival.
well, it's like showing it on your hand and stuff.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's kind of a very expensive parlor trick, right? So it's interesting for like 30 minutes, but then that's about it.
I think Joaquin Phoenix thought it was going to be his new girlfriend. Work out.
But you know what? Think about it. Since our Her episode, how far we've come down the path of ridiculous and, you know, just immense nonsense. It's scary. And you know what? That's becoming sort of the killer application. I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you're on YouTube, there's all these ridiculous like shorts that people are making, like short films. It's like retro things, and you know, there's all these overly sexualized characters, AI characters that they're putting into these videos. And that's what I mean. Is that it? Is this what we're gonna use generative AI for? And then the research. What is it? Deep research. OpenAI released deep research, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Not to be confused with
I just
DeepSeek.
forgot about DeepSeek.
Exactly.
But
I remember you and I had talked a couple years ago, Leonard, about deep fake.
yeah,
What was happening
Deep
with that?
fakes.
And so there was
that was 3 years
a
ago.
statistic saying that 90% of deep fakes that people create are non-consensual sexual images of people.
Yeah.
So that's what people, you know, they're not making like, you know, fun party videos. Like they're trying to hurt people with this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was the internet. That was the web. It was mostly porn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same with VCRs, you know?
Yeah.
Or
That's
at least
why the
from
VCR
Leonard and
took
Pete's
off.
point of view, that's what it was all 100% for them.
Yeah.
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 This is
Revolution.
why I love to be in Europe. AI, span, no problems here.
Oh, yeah. Europe has banned AI, so there's no problem.
Exactly. So it doesn't exist. Yeah. All right.
It doesn't exist. On
But,
ChatGPT, Europe doesn't exist.
Do you guys really miss it? It's the weird thing. You know, it's odd that, so I'm totally cut off from Facebook and all, like, you know, many of these social applications. You know,
You're
I
not
don't.
on TikTok?
No, I'm not
Not
on
on Instagram?
The only thing that I'm on X or Twitter, but I don't engage in it much. I'm on LinkedIn because this is professional and increasingly becoming more like TikTok, unfortunately. But you know, what was I going to say?
That you're on Mastodon.
You know,
Are you going to finish that you're on Mastodon? Or?
Yeah, this stuff is not essential. That's the problem. You know, everyone tries to equate it to energy and electricity. It's friggin' not. It's not. You can live without AI, 100%.
How would I live without AI? I need a co-pilot.
Are you serious?
Ask the ChatGPT. Ask the ChatGPT.
Wasn't it ironic though?
It's not essential.
Did you see that? Like Microsoft came out with some report in the last week or so about the use of AI was causing your brain to turn off, or
Turn to mush.
Cognitive decline. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just cognitive decline.
Yeah.
You're losing your
Critical
ability
thinking,
to problem solve or be a human anymore.
And so that's why you should buy a Copilot PC. I think that was the end of the article.
It was a weird deal. That
It was
Microsoft,
an ad for a Copilot PC that said, you know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And so I'm thinking, I've already lost half my brain to my smartphone, and the other half is going to go to AI, and then we will be in idiocracy, right?
Memory. You lose your memory with this thing.
Yeah.
Right? Remember
I don't
anything.
remember anything.
And then,
How many telephone numbers do you remember now?
yeah, this is memory offload.
Or one? Yours, no?
The other one's cognitive offload. Right?
Yeah. And so maybe it's an evil plot. I don't know.
Well, you know, they had the same argument they had when spell check came out and grammar check. It was like people aren't going to know how to spell anymore and how to do grammar. And I'm sure there has been a drop off in that because you don't need to, you know, spell very well in order to write documents.
No reason to go to your thesaurus anymore.
Oh my God.
Back when you had to type it with a typewriter on a piece of paper, you were really careful about how you spelled things.
Well, they're about to take the world by storm with Majorana.
With what?
Majorana just dropped it.
Yeah.
Majorana.
That's a big
for sure.
news event.
Quantum at the edge. Everyone's talking about it. I'm just kidding.
As of
If anyone says quantum at the edge, you should turn around and walk the other direction.
Well, you know, they're all making
term quantum at the edge today.
Quantum.
I'm going to update your Wikipedia.
Quantum.edge.
Edge quantum.
Yeah. Well, you should create a whole new session at the Edge AI event next week
about quantum.
Quantum at the edge.
Oh, you're gonna have to rebrand. No, seriously, next year you will have to rebrand because Microsoft is already pivoting on when they have that new chip. What's it called?
Majorana. Yeah, that's
Majorana.
And Google has Willow, and it's kind of the age of quantum semiconductor. Is there a semiconductor quantum industry that's picking up now? I don't know.
I heard all the quantum companies and startups stock went up big time yesterday.
They did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
NVIDIA
seems pretty bullish on it.
Yeah, I was speaking with a quantum developer, and he was telling me. I was asking like, okay, what? You can program a quantum computer with IBM or AWS, right? And he said, yes. And does this work? And he said, this only demonstrates that quantum computer still doesn't work, but enables developers to learn about the frameworks and the new programming languages. So a lot of big companies just want developers to train on these services that actually the results are completely wrong, but at least they know how to do it. So once at the point that the systems are going to work, the quantum computers are going to work, then they will be ready. I don't know. a bit of wishful thinking, right?
I stick with Visual Basic for Quantum as my programming language.
They're hybrid systems, man. They're hybrid, right?
I still stick with COBOL.
All right, that's
Apparently, COBOL's back. COBOL's hot these days. If you're a COBOL person, then you're in high demand, especially at the Social Security Administration or whatever. They're
COBOL's so hot right now.
rewriting the code on the fly.
Because the kids don't know how to do it.
They want to codify your knowledge.
I did see,
You want
like
the-
at half price books. I did see like Learn COBOL in 24 hours books. So maybe I should get
Wow.
that.
COBOL for Dummies.
Yeah, you know that half price books in Redmond.
Oh yeah,
They had it
sure.
there.
Yeah, they have a whole section there. They
Yeah,
have a whole COBOL section. They have a Fortran section, Pascal.
Yeah.
All those books.
right. Fortran for Dummies.
Fortran for Dummies.
Yeah, you gotta love it. In
Classic.
24 hours.
Send that one over to Elon and his crew so they can
That's right.
get
Yeah.
a leg up on that stuff.
So what is all right? But let's go back to this quantum chip. There's they created some kind of new matter or something, right?
Yeah, some new particle thing that's like neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like, the thing is I identify a thing that can, go viral in terms of a hype buzzword. And this is all like press release shenanigans, right? They're just trying to bump the stock. It's terrible.
oh, dude, you don't think these are real scientists who've been working for 20
They
years?
are.
And they were
They
releasing
are.
Yeah.
this amazing, and you just like had to bash them.
Oh,
and
but
say,
look
this is a pump and dump thing.
Okay,
It's called a
boom.
fermion. It's called a fermion is the material, a major amount of fermion. And what's probably happened is that there's some really awesome scientists at Microsoft doing some cool stuff. Someone in the marketing department heard about it and said, "Whoa, let's do a press release and we'll do a thing." And so it was like it got into the news cycle and it got pumped out. But I think the science behind it's fascinating.
Oh yeah.
It's just the application of it is obviously overhyped and overblown right now, which is
And way
typical
early.
for quantum stuff. But I'm sure that there's something pretty cool about this fermion thing that's
So
could help make it real.
1 million qubits on a chip.
That's right.
No,
You can't fix teams.
yeah. And the thing is, there's a lot of cool science out there. Whether or not you can commercialize it and it can actually deliver
Right. Applied.
impact and value, that's a different story. And that's where the valuations meet value. And people are just creating valuation. And that's all hype, And at this point, people are gonna gamble. That's
Sure.
what it's all about. It's all about speculation and gambling.
Yeah. Everybody wants to get in on the ground floor and
And so the only reason why I don't think this is kosher and sustainable, and usually isn't, because bubbles burst all the time, right? Is there all those very same researchers and scientists, engineers who do good work, who don't get funding, don't get attention, and then the ball doesn't move, right? Because everyone's investing in fantasy, sci-fi, fiction stuff, stuff that's way down the road, when organizations, businesses need to focus on actually getting to that next step, right? And so you see that with the telco industry. Everyone was talking about all this like 5G, 6G stuff. Who gives a crap about 6G? The operators can't even digest the 5G stuff. So solve that problem, right? Right, Bill?
Absolutely.
How are you going to have, listen to your customers, help them figure out how to get to the next step. It's like, why are you talking about investing now in like AI RAN, which requires them to completely revamp the physical infrastructure to support that? Why are you trying to sell that? Why are we talking about that? Why don't we talk about the next step? And that's what moves the ball. All this other stuff, man, it drives speculation and gambling.
Sure. It just has to be put in the right context. So it's great to have these scientific achievements. It just has to be the right context. And, you're right. It's like not all research can be applied to solving real problems, at least in the near
Not
term.
only that, the next step may not be sexy, right?
Oh, boring
Well,
as
but that's the whole thing, right? I've said it a million times. My team and myself say it. We live in the gap of the ugly. I'm not trying to be sexy.
yeah.
I see these gaps and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we can do something over there. But I just think, I mean, look, not to discredit at all. I don't want to appear totally cynical about some of these things that are being done, because I think a lot of smart people are around there trying to really, they're trying to do things. I don't know that they know exactly what problem they're trying to solve, because they haven't seen from legacy exactly what problems existed because of that. So they're just like on to the next thing. But I mean, we seriously have to get to some point where we're like, we've cultivated these technologies and we're applying them in this way. And it's the one throat to choke thing is killing me today, because there is no such thing. It is, when you say ecosystem partners, don't try to treat your partners like crap and just come in and go, this is all you get to do, and I'm going to do the rest of it, and I own it. It's me. It reminds me of Daffy Duck, right? It's mine. It's all mine. But let's get down to really what it takes. It takes a group of people to actually solve that. To that end, I think NVIDIA is actually doing a great job of building up their ecosystem and really trying to get applications on their stuff. I mean, I don't think that.
Well, that's one of their biggest competitive moats is the CUDA ecosystem and millions of developers building solutions on NVIDIA. And, there's a lot of switching costs, frankly, to move off of NVIDIA to alternative platforms. And they're cultivating a great developer ecosystem out there. So good for them. So I'm sure I'll see you all at GTC in March. It should be.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be
Crazy.
watching it online because
Watching GTC online.
I'm a loser.
I'll be there. But I mean, the thing about it though is because we had a lot of conversations with them, and they kept saying, well, what can you do? We'll give you, 4 GPUs, and I'm like, we don't need GPUs. I'm like, the stuff that we build literally lives on CPUs. And they were like, oh, we've got one that's got both. Okay, well, then we'll play with that, and we'll put the machine learning and all the inference detection on the GPU, and we'll do everything else on the CPU.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
No,
Do they
platforms.
have plans to go after the CPU market?
Oh
At
yeah.
NVIDIA?
Yeah. Digits.
I mean, why not, right? I mean, it's
Why
scale
not?
things down a little bit and create
great.
some operability.
I would say if the margin's there's always been the rumors of like, oh, there'll be a, Windows PC with NVIDIA CPU in it. And frankly, I'm skeptical of that just because the amount of work and effort and engineering effort put in to actually commercialize that, and the return on investment just doesn't seem like it would be worth it to NVIDIA relative to the other high margin opportunities they have. But technically it's possible. I don't think it's actually a realistic prediction. So
I think that they could emulate x86 instruction codes inside a Blackwell, and even though it's emulated, it'll still be 1,000 times faster than the fastest Intel or AMD chip. I just made that up.
But that's a data center play. You're talking about taking over data center, doing a share shift between x86 and the data center to a full NVIDIA system, which that seems to be more of a play for them to try to take over the PC market, which is always an interesting one. And I did work in Windows for a little bit. It's like, it's a consistently flat market. Like it's reached this steady state where there's X billion people use PCs. There's a refresh rate, and it's a couple 100 million units a year, and that's it. It's not gonna turn into some bigger thing. And so now it's just a share shift. It's like, well, most of it's Intel, some of it's AMD, some of it's Qualcomm or ARM, and then there's going to be some share shift in between. But to get into that market, you're not going to get into that market and ship 1 billion units of anything, because it's not that PC market. It's not that market.
And Pete, what's the distribution of the server market? I was expecting ARM to have a bigger.
Well, I think that's one of ARM's big plays right now is how do they convert more data center racks into ARM architecture with Ampere and things like that. I think that's probably the biggest play out there right now in terms of, there's lots of new stuff being built, and the ARM architecture has lots of interesting power saving capabilities. And, as you know, one of the biggest challenges of building data centers is electricity. So if you can shave 10 or 20% off the usage, then that's pretty material. So I think that's one of ARM's big plays these days, is probably less on the edge. I'd say RISC-V is kind of becoming much more of a lighter edge platform, and incurring on ARM. But ARM is now going after the cloud and the data center market to sort of share shift away from x86. But
Pete, it sounds like you could become a share shift consultant.
Yes, shareshift.com. Have you seen my website? It's called shareshift.com.
Show you how to get people to shift their share to your thing.
That's right. We're going from lemonade to limeade. It's a big
yes, exactly. I love that. So, speaking of x86 and all that stuff, there's been a lot of news this week, rumors. Obviously, you probably noticed Intel stock popped unexpectedly for no apparent reason except speculation about Broadcom and TSMC. All of it's maybe fiction.
Discuss.
Yeah, discuss.
Distraction.
Madonna on this side and Barbara Streisand on this side of me, I would just be set.
It's pretty simple.
It would be like butter. Oh my gosh.
China will kill off any acquisition by Broadcom. Dead on arrival. IFS, you spin it off, they lose a customer. They need products.
So somebody's going to buy.
All this stuff is just such a friggin' dangerous waste of time. It's unbelievable. You bring in a new CEO. What are they going to do? I mean, these guys are on the cusp of getting 18A up and going, products on the leading edge process technology, and they're friggin' screwing around like this. The game. It's unbelievable, man.
Paul Pat.
Unbelievable. No, don't call him. A lot of people say that. It's like, no, he actually contributed to a lot of these problems. Obviously, 20A, they had to deprecate 20A. And that was done under sort of, without a lot of coverage or talk. There's some analysts who didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
The roadmap had to get rationalized along the way. It was too aggressive. So, but what Wall Street's doing right now is they're killing the company. It's unbelievable. And the board is not doing anything about it because everybody wants to just rip the company into pieces. But they can't. They really cannot do it.
I'm going to go to their vision.
Just a friggin' waste of time. Yeah, I'll be there.
We'll hang.
I'm going to find out. Yeah, let's do that.
We'll be at the new and improved Virgin whatever casino that previously used to be the Hard Rock Casino.
Oh, Vegas. No. Are you serious? Is that it?
That's where it's at.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I know.
Hey, yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Rob? It's going to happen? What do you guys think? Did I just throw cold water on it?
You mean these rumors? Like, is someone going to buy the foundry business and someone's going to buy the main chip business? I don't know. Maybe, but people are speculating, and then pump and dump has been happening. You had a stock that's been hovering around $19 a share, and then it went all the way to 25, 27. It's kind of going back down now. But yeah, crazy speculation. I don't even know where that comes from. Maybe someone just did a quiet press release to start stirring the pot.
I think it's 25 today. So
is it? All right.
Is it 25?
Yeah. That's
Wow.
But this type of acquisition can be kind of ARM, the NVIDIA acquisition of ARM that at the end didn't happen, or that was anti-competitor, or
so the regulators said no.
Yeah.
To that.
So it's very tricky, right, to do an acquisition in these areas.
They thought NVIDIA would become too powerful if they.
In retrospect, it's true. They would have become too powerful.
Imagine managing ARM.
Yeah. They would have said no to everybody else. All the licensees.
Unless you put a GPU on your phone.
Right. Right. Exactly. I want to buy a new Blackwell phone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where you can press some digits, right?
Exactly. With the new quantum chip as well in the phone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Quantum phone.
Quantum. This guy's a genius. Are you in marketing?
Yeah, really. Quantum phone.
Man.
.com.
So,
quantumphone.com.
AI.
A lot of ideas.
I got to go to GoDaddy right now.
Go to GoDaddy. Hurry. Yeah.
Hurry up. Got to browse.
If anyone is listening this.
Yeah, right. Luckily,
They
They have
nobody.
plenty of ideas.
We're a wealth of ideas, yeah, like silly
Yeah.
ones mostly,
Not
but
necessarily good ones. Yeah, just
Pete,
ideas.
what happens to all those domains?
bad innovation. Huh?
Do we put them in our wills to our kids? All those domains.
Yeah, that's right. We just squat on them and just wait.
Yeah.
Wait 30 years for quantum to be real, and then
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's like, so Steve, we haven't seen you in a long time, man. What have you been up to?
Goods
Shooting
and
hoops.
bads. Now, I mean, Bill and I got a chance to hang out last week at IoT Evolution and IT Expo down in Fort Lauderdale. So that was a great chance to hang out. Went to dinner and chilled and talked about all kinds of crazy stuff between smart cities and AI and digital twin and all the other stuff that was going on. But that's been great. And go back to the consulting stuff. Things have been great because we, over the last 10 years, have only focused in on how the hell do you make money. So you might have innovation, that's out there, or disruptive technology, but if you can't sell it, what the hell are you doing? So we have found that our business continues to expand because there's so many geeks that have built really cool disruptive stuff, but they have no idea how to sell it or partner with it.
right.
So,
Yeah.
we're still finding that. Then also the VCs and the PEs are in the same boat. They keep on investing in these companies, but they have no way of making any money. And so that's our focus continues to be on that, and it's worked out great.
It's not disruptive then, right? It has to disrupt to be disruptive.
Well, the disruptive part is actually deploying.
Well, what have you done? Have you sold anything? No, we haven't. It's like, then you're not disruptive. You're not
Right.
actually doing shit.
Until you actually deploy something, then nobody
Yeah.
makes any money, right? So
Yeah.
that is the disruption, is to actually deploy it.
No kidding. And with who? That's that's a thing about technology. You can't do it by yourself. You got to partner with other people within that ecosystem.
That's right.
And
Collaboration.
Bill and I talked about this at dinner. When you look at a deployment, it's there's probably 4 or 5 different groups that have to get involved in order to provide and answer that problem for a customer. But most of these people have no idea who to partner with. Right? The single throat to choke is interesting comment because someone's got to be the call between the 5 people to
Well,
be.
someone needs to be the GC, right?
Exactly.
Are you the
Well-
throat?
What?
Steve, are you the throat?
I try not to be anymore. I was for too long, and I didn't like that position. But I teach them how to find the right throat to choke. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if, so that you kind of want that on a program or a project, right? Because that's what projects are. Projects are efforts to solve problems, right? And it's a tricky part. You either have to have one, or from a project governance perspective, either the customer goes heavy on that and they own it. They have let's say a partner service, management person that's delegated to the project, and then a program project manager. Then you need somebody on the vendor side representing either the vendor side single point to single throat to choke, or you have a bunch of them having individual relationships with the customer. So
And then
it all depends on how you structure your project is really what it boils down
I had a
to.
conversation with somebody last week at the show. He's a large MSP, and he was sitting there going, I'm the one supplying that solution. And then when you look at that ecosystem, the carrier's margins on a per gigabyte plan for IoT is dropping dramatically. Sensor prices are dropping dramatically. Edge computing boxes are dropping pricing dramatically. So where's the money in a smart city solution, right? Bill's got it in the sense that he's running the software piece of this thing and looking at how do that's where the money is in those solution offers. But most people don't know how to do that part.
Right.
So Rob, when I mentioned founders getting caught in a vicious cycle and wanting to escape, and you mentioned John McAfee, what you just described reminds me of what's happening in AI, generative AI right now, with token dumping and how the price is just plummeting. You just told the future right just right now. This is what Gen AI is going to end up like. It's just going to be so commodity. It's going to collapse so fast that everything in the ecosystem, the margins are just going to collapse.
There's no profit, and how can you build a business successful? Right, exactly.
But I think that's the critical point. I think you just said it. The technology is not what makes you the money. It's the application of the technology to solve a set of problems.
That's right. Yeah.
That's really what it is, which is why for me, it's like, there's a whole lot. Oh my God, don't get me on the soapbox. There is so much that goes into building out these things, whatever it is, right? And going and saying, I solved this problem. But if you internally don't accept responsibility and accountability for the gaps that you create and then go and address them, whether it be with yourself, your team, your partners, anything like that, then you're at fault and you should be held accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's, man, for me, that was the big nugget, man. Thank you so much, Steve. That's awesome. Oh my God.
That is a big nugget.
I mean, while you guys go to GTC, I'm going to the Channel Partner show in Vegas that same week, because while we have all learned the goods and the bads and the uglies of channels and resellers and systems integrators and everything else, those guys are still the main focus of attention in the large enterprises.
Right.
They're still selling all this other stuff, right? And so if they don't understand what AI can do for them, or they don't understand all these other pieces, right? Exactly. That's exactly right.
But okay, so I'm gonna bring it back to a foundational element.
Uh-oh.
Here we go, right? You know what problem you're trying to solve. You have sensors, you have a network, you have monitoring, management, and maintenance, so you have device life cycle, and you have, everything else over the top of it. The number one thing that I don't hear talked about, and Steve, you were in some of the sessions that I was in when we were in Fort Lauderdale. Security.
Yeah, I know.
Privacy.
Yeah. And
I'm like, can we talk about those things as it relates to the development of your solution and how you're instituting? The first thing that, I said it this week on a post that, look, I want to talk about privacy. We can't even secure the crap today.
Yeah. And as Debbie knows very well, because I introduced her to a company that I'm involved in, this company, Somos ID. I'm on the patents for it. If you look at the cyber trust labeling program for the consumer side of it, and how amazingly important that is to our future of products that we put in our homes, refrigerators, appliances, all these things going forward, and the people don't really care about it. No one cares about the unsecured products you bring into your home that are on your Wi-Fi router, and all those things are related to it. It's because it's not sexy.
Mm.
You know what? That's the same problem that AI has. Generative AI.
It ain't sexy.
You're hitting home runs here, Steve. No, I'm dead serious. Yeah. Dead serious. Same problems. It's just coming from the cloud down to the edge, is not the other way around. So it's actually some really weird dynamics happening, and they don't support the hype at all. None of these things. You hear about scaling laws, right? The thing is that you have data center scaling crap, then you have the edge scaling stuff. The edge scaling stuff goes the other way. And for training, which there is no ROI on any of this stuff, it depends on the stuff happening out on the edge. Guess what? This stuff keeps going up.
Yeah.
And
one of the things that Bill and I saw last week is this whole thing around, data analytics and using AI and all this stuff around data. Wait a second. Weren't we analyzing the data like 20 years ago on the for the devices on the edge? Like, if the temperature rises, the data tells you to turn the fan on. Okay, so 20 years later, we're doing the same shit with analyzing the data for more money. It's like unbelievable. It's like, maybe I am too old, Leonard.
Yeah, if it were so smart, instead of telling you it needs to turn the fan on, it's just turn the damn fan on.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Right.
Well, I mean, I would say if it's so damn smart, how about telling me when a threat is there?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Or have your kids do it. That's why you have kids, right? So they can go and change the channel on the TV, right? When you
I was AI for my parents.
Oh yeah.
You know? I was AI. Go get me a drink. I got you. Go change the channel. Go vacuum the. I mean, I was the Roomba. I was all of that.
Yeah. Well, we have a depopulation problem now growing around the world. So build a business case for like the future of humanity versus future of, non-essential AI.
Non-essential.
Wow.
It is non-essential. You don't need it. I mean, that's the sad truth you can live without this stuff. You can do stuff without it. That's don't need it. That's every vendor out there, you do yourself a favor, because what we just dropped here is probably what the future of this market's going to look like, and you're going to have to deal with it, right? And then going back to how we started this conversation, there's a lot of founders out there that didn't do their homework. They're going off of bad data, who are going to probably become John McAfee at some point.
Of course, to be a devil's advocate, I'm imagining, caveman version of Leonard Lee, 100,000 years ago on his show going, listen, we can live without this fire thing. We don't need it.
Yeah.
We're good without fire. Yeah. And that other high-tech pump and dump thing called the wheel.
Yeah.
Nobody asked for it. Nobody's asking for it.
They don't need to be on the bus. They don't need to be on the bus.
Yeah.
I would be much healthier without the wheel. Okay. That's all I got to say. I'd be walking around a lot more. We would still be living in friggin' villages, Rob. And you know what? When all this AI stuff gets out of control, I'm going to become Amish. All right. I'm going to go and live I'm going to move my family, and we're going to live in an Amish village, and we're going to live simple, because that's going to be the premium.
We're going to build tiny homes.
Amish.
Yes.
But the Amish still use wheels, so.
Oh, come on. Right. Think about, in North Carolina.
And horses.
They built houses for people, because they probably, nobody knows how to build houses, because they're all like robotic manufactured.
And they supply more tiny homes in Western North Carolina than FEMA trailers.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not making fun of them at all. I'm saying, look, the simplicity that they have in their lives is going to be the premium.
They might have a happier life, for all I know.
Well, it's interesting, because I had a conversation last week with another older veteran of this crap, and I said, so when you retire, do you switch this out for a flip phone because you don't give a shit about what's on this thing? You don't care anymore?
At some point.
And he goes, you know what? I may think about bringing that razor back out and start playing and going with that and not having to worry about it. So it's,
I love
when
it.
do you not need it?
So I mean, yeah. Before
You're talking about like a jitterbug. You're talking about jitterbugging this whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, but before you do that, think about it.
Magazine here.
How many numbers do you remember off the top of your head? How many phone numbers do you know off the top of your head?
Because of this, man. We forgot because of this.
Dude,
Yes.
the wife and myself. That's it.
Oh, you remember your wife's number? Oh, cool.
Only because that's I have to know that for in case of emergency at my age, Rob. They got to call somebody.
Right. Yeah, that's a good
Emergency
point.
contact. Yeah. Emergency
That's
contact.
right.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Wow.
Yeah, and the Secret
Well,
Lives
good
of
stuff.
Customers, Pete, is a book that is amazing. That needs to be part of every entrepreneur's world, because they do not shut up and listen and ask open-ended, probing questions.
There you go. Let me pitch another book before we're done. This is called the Mad Fold-In book. So this is all the cool Al Jaffe fold-ins.
Love it.
So read both. Read both, really, if you really want it.
And one other one is called The Millionaire Next Door.
Oh, I remember that book.
That's an old one.
The Barber?
Read that. I read it every single year. I think that book right there.
Yeah, you're right.
Good books.
That's a good one. Instead of trying to be highbrow and read Sapiens, you should be reading these books instead.
Well,
So
Sapiens is a good book too.
it's good. It's
Absolutely.
interesting. You're right. You're right. So I'm finally, speaking of book, I'm finally getting my act together. My collection of sustainability use cases, I'm finally getting them into a book, and I've been using my blog as kind of a scratch pad for how I want to do it. I'd always been goofing around with these use cases for the different sustainable development goals, that kind of thing, and I've done a lot of presentations on them. And so I started kind of copying and pasting from PowerPoint slides from presentations into my blog, actually, to get it to how I think I want it to be, and then from there it's going into a book, and I'm gonna try to have it out the door, in a few months or something. So that's always cool. Yeah. And it's just use cases, and it's like a recipe, this sensor, this device, this network, this stupid analytics, this, that kind of thing. Really simple. Yeah.
Oh my
Very
God.
cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like we're up on time here. So who wants to take us out? Bill looks
All right.
Okay. You
I'm
do
going to take you out because I'm going to go to the airport and fly to Tejas, where I'm going to see all
Austin,
my
Texas.
buddies.
See everybody next week.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to
Have
go down
fun.
there in advance and hang out in H-Town for a bit. Then I will drive up to ATX on Tuesday to hang out with all my bros and Stephanie, which we never see, but we saw her a few times recently, and talk about Edge AI and Quantum Edge and
Quantum Edge,
phones,
yeah, for sure,
and
man.
stuff like that. Thanks for joining us. We're here every week to drop some knowledge, sometimes about IoT, but usually not anymore. And a lot of silliness.
Bring it up.
And if you listen to Steve Brummer, you're going to learn how to make money in this space. So don't focus on the shiny object, focus on the channel partners, right? That's where it's at. Exactly. Marc will let you know. And also support elevator kids, laptops, connectivity, so kids can go to school remotely, when they don't have a school anymore, right? Like in Los Angeles or Asheville, North Carolina, or maybe still in Lahaina. I don't know. And all kinds of places. We're here to make it real in closing the digital divide. We're not a lot of talkers. We're doers here. So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
All right. Cool.